Welcome to Clear Vision Wednesday. My name is Trisha Kirby. I am guest hosting today for Claudia Muhlenberg while she's traveling. She's actually returning from the Valencia Vision Conference, where she has been for the past week or so with vision teachers from around the world. So exciting. And she will be bringing you some really good information and news from that coming up in a future episode. So today is going to be a really fun call. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been here for a while, also welcome. If you're new, please subscribe to the channel, and also please subscribe to our Instagram. That is going to be one of the places where Claudia will be sharing some of these great videos and photographs and information and tidbits from the Valencia Vision Conference. And her Instagram is at Holistic Vision Coach on Instagram. So please join, follow her on Instagram, subscribe to the channel, and welcome. So we know we're moving into the holidays right now. And when we go into the holidays, there are a lot of wonderful experiences that happen, but there's also a good bit of stress. And one of the places where we tend to hold our stress without even being really aware of it is our face. We have emotions and we have thoughts and we have feelings and we get stressed out and there's too much to do, not enough time to do it in. And then we have the stress in our face and in our body too. But a lot of the times we normalize the stress in our face and we don't even feel it. And if you've ever had a facial, you've had someone give you a facial massage, you know, being on the receiving end of that, how incredibly wonderful it feels. It's just magic. It's like all of a sudden you didn't even realize that there was tension in your face until it's suddenly gone. And invariably, that also affects our vision and it helps our eyesight be clearer and sharper and more relaxed, which is where we get the clarity from. So when our eyes are relaxed, we are more likely to be able to see clearly. So this is a special call because I invited one of our vision teacher, holistic vision teacher certification students to be on the call today. She is a face yoga method practitioner and several other things she's going to tell you about too. She is in our certification program for becoming a vision teacher. And she is just an amazing, wonderful human being. So it gives me great pleasure to bring her onto the call to share with you this method and this information, and you'll absolutely love her, love her. So let me bring Abi Davies on. Oh, okay. I didn't mean to take me away, but take it away, Abi.
Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm so grateful to be here. My name is Abi Davies, and Trish has given me a really lovely introduction. I'll just add a little bit more to my biog, which is that I am British. I live in London, and I'm a single mom. I have two teenage children, neurodivergent children, and my past is that I'm an actor. I'm also a British Sign Language interpreter. I work with the deaf community. But both of those professions they're quite a cognitive load on them. And I often feel quite stressed doing those jobs. And I found that looking for practices that promote self-care for me have been incredibly important. And it was during the first lockdown in the 2020 pandemic that I discovered the face yoga method, which is a yoga-inspired series of facial exercises and relaxation techniques to really work from the inside out and but in the process actually can really transform your aesthetic. And at the time, back then, I was feeling kind of miserable about my own reflection in the mirror, and being middle-aged and perimenopausal and all of those things. And I've wanted to take back a bit of control over my face. I wasn't interested personally in using any injectables or surgery. I wanted something natural that would empower me and make me feel a bit better. And I really found it with the face yoga method, so much so that I took a training course to become a teacher. And since then, I've been teaching groups. I teach deaf people, I teach one-on-one. And then I became interested in breathing because someone in my life had an accident and they became unwell, and it was really important they focus on their breathing. So when I saw how much their recovery was affected by the breath work that they'd done, I decided I wanted to train to become a breathwork coach. And I am at the moment doing my training with the Oxygen Advantage. And then back about 2 years ago, I discovered Claudia and her natural vision improvement. I was scrolling through Instagram, my glasses on, absolutely sick of them. They just made me feel crazy wearing them all day. So I took her 10-week course back then, and I felt so different about my eyesight and about the fact that I had some agency over it and that I had the power to change my future. And cut to beginning of this year, Claudia opened her teacher certification program and I had to sign up. I am an eternal student, but I also feel like these three modalities that I work in work so well in symbiosis. And I thought it would be really nice to do a session with you where we incorporate face yoga, breathwork, and natural vision improvement, but really to create a space for us just to take a little bit of time for ourselves. I've mentioned that I am a busy mum, and today I was up at 6 a.m., traveled to work. I've done an 8.5 hour day at a desk and then an hour's commute home. It's 8 p.m. in the evening. And I could really do with a little bit of self-care. So I'm very grateful that you're going to join me. And I think I'm wearing my glasses because I wanted you to feel that I know how it feels to wear glasses. And so when I say it, let's take our glasses off, I want you to know that you're safe and that anything, especially for people who have myopia and find it difficult to focus in, hyperopia and find it difficult to focus in the near ground, then don't worry, I'm going to try and explain everything that I'm doing so you can just follow my voice. That's the aim, really. And I just hope it's a really relaxing and an enjoyable experience, and I'd love to hear how you think it went at the end. So let's take our glasses off to begin with and take a breath. Now, thinking about our breathing, we want to be breathing through our noses, not through our mouths. Mouths are for eating and talking, and noses are for breathing. So if we just place the tongue up behind the top teeth, those are my front teeth, and I'm just going to place my tongue up in the roof of my mouth, up there. I'm going to sit it up in the roof of my mouth. I'm going to not close my teeth. They're going to be just slightly apart, but I am going to close my lips softly. And I'm going to relax my jaw. And then I'm going to think about my position of my head. Where is it? So many of us spend all our time looking down. So just think about lifting the chin slightly. Just slightly imagine you're looking just over the horizon. So that opens up the airway. And then I'm going to slightly take my head backwards so that my ears are over my shoulders. And then I've got an imaginary puppet string pulling me up through the crown of my head. As I sink down, if we're sitting, then sink down into your sit bones. I'm actually standing because I've been up in a chair all day. But sink down through your sit bones, at the same time just drawing up through the crown of your head as if you've got a helium balloon on the top of your head, and it's effortless, just lengthening up through the spine. Natural curve in the spine, and shoulders are relaxed and down. And then just quieten the breath as much as you can. You can place one hand on the chest, on the upper chest, and then the other hand just below your ribs and just above the belly button. And then just notice as you're breathing, which hand is moving the most. And if the upper hand is moving more, just see if you can quieten that hand down and keep that hand still. And take the breath in through the nose. It's going to travel over where we've just placed the tongue to the back of the throat and then right down to that bottom hand. Our hand sitting kind of on our diaphragm area. Diaphragm is this big umbrella-shaped muscle underneath our lungs. And as we breathe in, it pulls down. And if you imagine a syringe pulling liquid into it, it's like that, drawing the air down to the bottom of our lungs, where we've got the most alveoli, the little air sacs that allow oxygen to go into the blood. They're really densely concentrated at the bottom of the lungs. So we want to draw the air in softly through the nose, down to that bottom part of the lungs. And just notice if you can feel some expansion at the sides of the ribs as well, and possibly into your back even. For some of us, we don't get much movement there when we breathe. So just encouraging some gentle expansion, the front, the sides, and at the back, while slowing the breath down. When we're trying to relax, we want to have very quiet, slow, deep breaths, but we don't need a huge volume of air because our body doesn't need that when we're relaxing. And also when we inhale, we want to keep it as quiet and soft as possible because the inhale encourages our nervous system to go on the alert, which is why we would take a big, deep breath in when we've got something to do that requires real action. But when we want to calm, we want to keep that inhale soft and quiet. And if someone was next to you, could they hear you breathing? If you can hear yourself breathing, see if you can make it even quieter so you cannot hear your own breath. Just take a couple more soft, quiet, deep breaths there. This is allowing the body to know that it's safe to relax. And if you can just make that exhale slightly longer, but don't force anything. I don't want you to be desperate to take an inhale. It should just be very, very effortless. The breath coming in and going out through the nose without any effort. It only takes a few minutes to down-regulate the nervous system in this way. We always have that within us at any time. We have the ability to quieten our nervous system ourselves. And in the words of the wonderful Jill Miller, my breath is home. Maybe think that in your mind as you take the next few breaths. My breath is home. I'm coming home. So now we're going to move into a little bit more movement, but I want you to keep your tongue in the same place. And I want you to keep breathing through your nose, but we're going to just start to get some movement into our shoulders and our neck, just so that we can release any tension that we might be holding. I'm just doing some forward rolls with my shoulders in a big circle. Take off my jumper. I'm circling my shoulders forward and down. Just follow your own breath Find your own rhythm. And see how much space you can find in that shoulder girdle. How much, is there some restriction? Is it tight? Just keep your breath soft and send it to those shoulders. And then let's go in the opposite direction, rolling back, lifting up and back and down, squeezing the shoulder blades together at the back. And we'll just increase that stretch by placing fingertips on the shoulders and then bringing the elbows together at the front. As you breathe in, just slightly lift the chin and raise the elbows up and out. So we're drawing a big circle with the elbows forward on the inhale and down and back on the exhale. And now we're going in the opposite direction. Back, squeeze the shoulder blades together like you're closing the pages of a book. Roll the shoulders forward and down. And just notice, if you can, are your elbows out of kilter? Try and keep them on a level pegging. Because so often we carry tension in our bodies and we're slightly misaligned. And all of that affects other parts of our body. So if we've got out of alignment in the shoulders, it's going to affect our faces as well. So now just come back to center. I'm just going to take a sip of water. And I encourage you, if you have water with you, to sip throughout the session. Definitely drink some water afterwards because we're going to move some lymphatic fluid. But this is time for us, and water is really good for our bodies. And I'm always dehydrated, so it's a really good opportunity for me to take some water. So now I'd like you to start to use your fingers, like the knuckles of your fingers. We're just going to, if you can, sorry, what do I mean? If you can just make accessible this part of your body, if you're wearing a top, just pull the collar down or open up the buttons, but we're trying to get to our collarbone area because we've got lots of lymph nodes. The main lymph nodes in the body are located all along the collarbone. And we want to just stimulate them now. So I'm using the pads of my fingers and I'm just pressing in and down along my collarbone. And I can also use my knuckles to just slightly move the skin across my chest. And I'm just turning my head to see what kind of restriction I've got in my neck today, my tight, and the other side. So it's getting quite red here. You can see the blood is flowing to this area, which is a good sign. I'm going to open up the lymph nodes down the side of my neck. We've got a chain of lymph nodes running down the side of the neck. And the lymphatic system supports our circulatory system and our immune system and many things. It's a vital system in our body, but it has no natural pump. So we need to move our bodies. We need to move our diaphragm up and down. That acts as a pump for our lymphatic system. So I'm going to place my wrists together and just lap the palms of my hands on my neck. And I'm just doing some circling motions back and down and activating that channel of lymphatic nodes there. And now I'm just going into the back of my neck and having a feel about the occipital bone here, that bit that sticks out, and just having a little investigate, see if I've got much tension in there. And while I'm there, I'm going to move up into my scalp. It's amazing how much tension we hold in the scalp, but I'm just moving the whole scalp against the skull, side to side, back and forth. little circle motions. While I'm here, I'm going to take peace fingers and go in front and behind the ears on both sides. Again, we've got lots of lymph nodes there, so I'm just stimulating those. Applying sort of medium pressure. When we drain lymphatic fluid, you actually use very, very light feather-like touch, but to stimulate the nodes, you just add a little bit of pressure at the beginning and then gently stroke down the neck, back down to the collarbone. Bit more water. I hope this is feeling good. I'm already feeling the circulation is starting to move. I'm waking up. I've had such a long day, but this is really revitalizing me. It's lovely. So again, I'm just going into my head, and then I'm going to have a little pull of my ears. Just give them a little rub and a squeeze and a wiggle, just pulling them away from the head. And just notice how the jaw feels. Open and close it. And if it's tight, you can just press the pads of the fingers in there very gently. Close your eyes and just breathe. I'm going to take my thumbs underneath the chin and just sweep along the jawbone here towards the hinge and then stroke down. Again, just sliding under there, lifting up and stroke down. One more time. And stroke down. And now I'm just going to press with, I'm probably going to use my ring finger. That has the least amount of force. So when I'm working on the face, it's often a really good idea to use that finger. Then you're not adding too much pressure. But I'm going just to the sides of my nose. There's a little groove in there, and I'm just trying to release the muscle, the snarling muscle, the side of the nose. Before, we will do a little bit of toning, some facial exercises to tone the muscles. But first, we need to relax them. So the face yoga method has five tenets, the 5 Rs, which is recognize, release, rebuild, relax, and repeat. So we recognize our poor habits that we have. Maybe we chew our food on one side all the time, or we sleep on one side, or we sit like that, or we stand on one hip, all kinds of things like that that create asymmetry in the face. So we recognize our habits and we try and change them, just like we do with our vision habits. We try and find better habits. Then we release the tension in the face. Then we rebuild it. We activate some of the muscles that have got a bit sluggish or a bit lazy, especially the ones around the eyes and the cheeks, to lift them up and give ourselves a natural lift. Because the brilliant thing about the facial muscles and why they allow us to express ourselves as we can is because the muscles are attached to the skin on one side and the bone on the other, whereas the rest of the body, it's just bone to bone. So we release the tension in the muscles and then we rebuild them with some activating exercises, and then we relax them afterwards, and then we do it again, because it's a practice, something that we do, but we can build these practices and these habits into our daily life, and then they just become second nature. So we have warmed up our shoulders, we've released some tension in our face, or we've opened up the lymph. I think it would be nice to do a little bit more massage, particularly around the eyes, and then some eye activation exercises. And then we'll do some palming at the end to relax. So I don't know if any of you have any facial oil to use, but I would recommend, if you're massaging around the eyes, It's very thin skin and it's quite delicate. So perhaps use some serum or eye cream or facial oil. If you don't have that, just be mindful that you're not dragging the skin and just do the movements very lightly this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use a few drops of, mine is jojoba oil. That's very similar to the skin's natural oil. I've just done a few drops. I'm going to warm it up. I'm just going to press it onto my face, but don't worry if you don't have any oil. You can do it without. It just adds a little bit of glide. And I'm just pressing into my face and neck. And a good thing to remember when you're applying face oil or cream is always go in an upward direction. We don't need to give gravity any help by pulling our faces down. So always up, except for when we are draining down the sides of our neck. So I'm using an L shape, placing it under my chin and then next to my nose, and I'm sweeping up to my temples. Lovely big sweeping motion. Your skin may, you may not need to use oil if you have a sort of a relatively oily skin. I have quite dry skin. So I'm just sweeping up. And the next time I'm going to do it, I'm just going to drop my jaw as if I'm yawning. It's that sort of relaxed open. I don't want to force it, but it creates a bit of stretch across the face. I'm going to open my eyes as wide as I can without creasing up my forehead. So if your tendency is to lift your eyebrows and crease up your forehead, then don't have your hands there. Have your hands on your forehead just to keep it steady. But I'm going to open my eyes really, really wide. I'm going to drop my jaw and slightly tuck my top lip over my top teeth. So it's going to look like this if you're at the side. And if you need to support your forehead from lifting, then it's like that. And we only need to hold it for about 10 seconds and then you can relax because the muscles are very small and they fatigue quickly. So they don't need hours and hours of exercise. But we can do this maybe 3 times. So again, I'm just sweeping up, giving my face a natural lift, dropping my jaw, elongating my top lip, just creating some resistance and stretch, opening my eyes as wide as possible, but keeping the forehead really soft and relaxed. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let go. Just tap over the face. And we'll do it one more time. Sweeping up, drop the jaw, tuck the top lip over the top teeth, and then open the eyes as wide as you can, but keeping the forehead really, really soft. And release. Now that exercise floods your face with blood and the circulation gets a massive boost, which is really great for your complexion. And that took us about 30 seconds to do. So you could do that a couple of times a day. It's a really good booster. So now I want to get my pad of my thumb into that part, my eye socket in there. I'm going to do it one at a time, but you can do it both together. But I'm just going to concentrate on one side. I'm getting into that eye corner and just drawing across my eyebrow and then flicking up at my temple. And I can feel quite a bit of tension in there, so it feels nice. I'm going to do the other side. pressing in, across and up, in, across and up, drawing up. One more time. And up. And then at the temples, I'm taking my fingers, I'm just drawing them apart and pulling the temple area apart. And then I'll take it over to the other side. And then here in the center, I'm a really prolific frowner. So I'm going to take my hook fingers and place them on my eyebrows, and I'm going to pull them apart towards my temples. So hooking in there, I'm pulling with quite some force. I'm really pressing in and lifting up. And then some sweeping, palming strokes across the forehead, just to let it relax. And now I'm going to use this opportunity just to open my eyes wide again, because I'm trying to build up some strength in the orbicularis oculi muscles, the like sphincter muscles at the front of the eyes that open and close the eyes. And when we work these to naturally open the eyes, but without using the forehead, it stops us getting, see, the forehead has a huge muscle that goes all the way to the back of the head. There's a belly of muscle at the back as well. And when we're lifting our eyebrows up and lifting our forehead up, we get tension in the back of the head. So you can just tap with your fingers at the back of the head if you're feeling any tension. But also just learning to get these eye muscles working without the forehead getting involved will help us to get that wide open eye look that is so engaging. People, they look differently at you when you have an open, expressive eyes. So thinking about how you look at people as well and how you want to be seen. It's a nice, yeah, it's a nice practice to do. I want people to see me. Okay, so now we'll go now. I think we'll go for a little bit of lymphatic drainage under the eyes. And I'm just going to use these two fingers here. That's my middle finger and my ring finger. I'm going to place them just under the eyes and gently rock them across the face. I'm applying very little pressure, very light, and I'm just rocking my middle and ring finger back and forth across under my eyes to my temples, and then circle at the temple and draw down. Okay, now I want to again work on the eye area here. I'm going to take a C shape with my hand. I'm going to place it so my index finger is sitting on my eyebrow and my thumb is sitting on my cheekbone. And what this does is I'm kind of holding my eyebrow down with my finger, and I am slightly putting a little bit of pressure on my thumb. So there's a little bit of resistance on the lower eyelid. And now I'm going to open my eyes as wide as I can, but without crinkling up my forehead. I'm going to keep so fine to blink, don't have to stare. Keep blinking and breathing, but keep them open. And now I want you to imagine you're in a sandstorm and you've got to squeeze them shut, but keep a little bit of light coming in. So squeeze them and then release. And now tap the pads of your fingers. So we're strengthening the muscles around the eyes, and hopefully that will also create some lift as well. Now, just to relax that muscle, I'm going to take 2 fingers, my middle and my index finger, in a V shape over my eyebrow, lifting it up. And then I'm taking the other 2 fingers and I'm following that line. So lifting, going back with one and forward with another. Sometimes the coordination is a bit tricky, but basically the side that your eyebrow is on, that hand goes backwards and the other hand goes forwards. And I'm lifting up and to the temple. And this has quite an amazing effect, this movement. You see the difference in my eyebrows after just doing that a couple of times. That I'm not raising my eyebrow. The muscles have lifted. So if you can see that difference on my face, I'm going to do, it's a temporary lift. It won't last forever. But the more we do this practice and we release the tension and lift the muscle up, it will find a new home eventually. So just doing the other side. So this is a really nice one to do just kind of before you go out. You just want to face the world with bright eyes. Okay, brilliant. So now we'll just do a little bit of massage around, again, around the cheeks, around the sinus area. And I'm going to use the side of my hand. I'm going to scoop it in along the cheekbone from the center, from my nose out towards my ears. We're just sculpting that side of the cheek. Make sure you're not holding your breath. And remember, if you are, you can come back to that place of quietude, softness, relaxation, safety. So I hope we're doing okay. We could do a little bit more, but I think maybe I will do some palming with you now so that we can finish this practice with some relaxation for our eyes. So I'm standing up, but if you're sitting down and you can get yourself into a comfortable palming position where you can rest your elbows on a table or on a palming stick, or if you have a cushion or a blanket, you can just tuck it across your chest. It's just so that your shoulders are, the weight of your elbows and your shoulders are held by something and you're not straining. So I'm getting into position to palm. I'm going to rub my hands together, warm them up, and then place my cupped hands over my eyes, close my eyes, and allow the fingers just to overlap on the forehead. And try and make sure that there's a seal around the eyes so that no light is coming in and they're enveloped in darkness. It's time to rest. Time to rest our eyes now. For the next few minutes, they have nothing to do except relax. They don't have to take any more information in, decode any images. They can just rest. And we return to that soft, quiet, deep breathing. In through the nose and out through the nose. while our eyes let go. Let go of any tension that you might be feeling in the eyes. Let go of any tension you might feel in your jaw. Notice if there's any sensation where something doesn't feel quite comfortable. Just let it go. My breath is home. My eyes are relaxed. I am so grateful for my vision. I bathe my eyes in darkness. I bathe my eyes in peace and love. I love my eyes. With every exhale, I let go of tension. My eyes are happy. I am happy. I love and accept myself and my vision just as it is right now. My breath is soft and gentle, and my body can relax. You may notice that you can have a little pause at the end of the inhale or the exhale. There might just be a natural pause before the next breath comes in or out. And if that's happening for you, then just enjoy that moment of stillness, suspended. And I'd like to invite you just to add a soft hum on the exhale. It doesn't have to be loud, it doesn't have to be long. It's just a very gentle hum that's going to agitate or innervate your vagus nerve, which will allow your body to relax and feel safe. It's so important that we take time for ourselves to replenish ourselves. You can't pour from an empty jug. So this is a chance to fill our jug. And I really encourage you to find moments where you can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes to breathe, calm, and fill your jug. So we're going to gently bring this practice to a close. When you're ready, you can start to unpeel your hands from your eyes. And if it feels nice, you can just gently butterfly blink your eyes open. But equally, if you're happy with them closed, then I celebrate you keeping them closed. Closing our eyes is the easiest thing we can do for our vision. It gives us a reset instantly. And that's something we can always do. So thank you, all of you, for joining me today. I feel really, really chilled out. I hope it's transferred to you somewhat. I'm seeing some lovely hearts and hands. So thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. And hopefully I can come back and do some more of these sessions with you another time.
Oh, Abby, that was just beautiful. And I noticed my vision is sharper and clearer. And I noticed I was running a little bit of a headache earlier, and that has lightened up as well. So I had a question for you. For
Sure.
someone who's just starting out, how long might they do this practice just as a beginner? Like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or just pick a couple practices that they like? Like what would be a good starter just for our audience?
Great question. And from what I have learned myself is that we never have time to do any of this stuff. And if we put it off, so pick the things that just feel really good and stack them onto another habit that you have. So I don't know. I do some of my face yoga when I'm driving in the car. And some of the exercises, I do them then. I just find ways to sort of sprinkle them into my day because I don't have time to sit in front of a mirror and do these practices, or I'll do them while I'm in bed before I wake up, before I get out of bed, or before I go to sleep. Some facial massage is so great for calming you, and the breath work, it just sends you off to sleep beautifully. So that would be a starting point, just to sort of top and tail the day, how you want to how you want to show up in the day and how you want to feel. It's just it's a really good practice. Not always possible, but yeah, that would be my suggestion.
I love that. Now I'm thinking, okay, well, let's have you back to do a morning face yoga routine and then a before
Your
bed face
bedtime one.
yoga routine
Yeah, great.
because I love because that's about the only time I give myself for self-care. It's like right when I wake up in the morning and right when I go to bed at night.
Yeah, me too. Me
Oh,
too.
that's okay. I love that. All right, I'm going to propose that idea to Claudia. Um, all right. So, if anyone wants to work with you privately, I'm encouraging you to have a workshop at some point. But I want people to be able to reach you. How can people get a hold of you until you have a website, which we're going to get working on that because we want
Yes,
offer, we
yes.
want
I mean,
websites.
I've been qualified for 5 years and I don't have a website or anything, but I have children and I have a day job and things just, yeah, and I don't have a mind for business. But I
Yes.
do have an email. I have my happy face yoga, all one word. That's my name. My happy face yoga at gmail.com is my email address. I would love it if anyone wants to contact me. I am available for group work, for private work. I live obviously in the UK, so there's a time difference, but I'm sure we could work something out. Yeah, and I will get on board with
To help
websites
you.
and
Well, we're going to do that in the spring,
yeah.
part of the certification training. We work with marketing and business, and Claudia is amazing with those things. I will say this, if there's anybody on this call who is listening right now who either wants a private session, please contact Abby. And as well, be thinking of if you have a corporation or you have a business and you'd like to give your employees a holiday treat and to have Abby on board and come in and do a face yoga method group session or breath work as well, or incorporate all of the above, would that not be wonderful? So please, please, please be thinking of how you can treat yourself, treat your employees, even treat your family members, and do more of this kind of thing. So I want to thank you so much for sharing this with us. You are a wonderful teacher. I am so honored to be in the certification training along with you because you are spectacular. I'm a big fan. And I want to welcome everyone to join us again next week for Clear Vision Wednesday. Claudia will be back on the show and be sharing lots of interesting tips. Hopefully she'll have a little bit of an update from Valencia, but that might not be next week, but we'll see. And I just want to thank everyone for joining us, and please go into the holiday season with gentleness, with happiness, with joy. Shine your light outward, have clear vision, and keep coming back because we're going to share more information as we go. We're here for your eyes holistically. All right, everybody, take care. I'm going to end the live stream, say goodbye to YouTube, and stay on Abby because we're going to be with